Here's my alarm. It's set for 6:07, but it slowly gets brighter and brighter as the time gets closer. Somehow, I'm always waking up at like 5:30 and I'm just awake for it. I don't know. But gives me a little bit less time to sleep, more time awake, obviously. I should probably sleep. I don't know if I can.
Good morning. I've been dropping stuff lately. I don't know what's going on. I'm maybe being too impatient or something. I'm trying to move too quick. And I bump into stuff, things drop. And I'm holding up the mic to my mouth because I've been trying not to, just to see how that audio is, and it's bad. So now here we are. We are starting off today with this lateral cable thing. It's one of my newer workouts I just started doing, and I like it. Today's chest day though, but I thought I would mix it up a little and start off with shoulder, warm up with shoulder, and then hit some chest. That way my shoulders aren't going to get injured while I'm doing bench press or something because they're already kind of warmed up and exercised. So that's what we're doing today for a workout. It's pretty early. Somehow my body, I wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. I don't know how, because I went to bed at around midnight. I'm gonna crash pretty hard later today. Speaking of later today, I feel super uncomfortable in the wheelchair right now. I don't know what it is, but I think it's the weather, because when it gets colder, the chair, the pressure, how much it's inflated gets changed a little bit. So I might have to adjust that, because I feel really weird. Anyway, later today, I'm going to the New Ability Gala fundraiser thing. So I packed nice clothes in my bag. I'm going to wear a tie. And you might be able to tell if we zoom in. I dyed my mustache so that way, looks cool. So yeah, let's get this workout going. I'm pretty excited to be here early. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking. I want to spend a lot of time getting a lot of volume. Tomorrow morning, hitting the gym with Isaiah. I'm gonna do some back, then go to the Greek holiday market, then go to the airport and go to Detroit. And then I'll be coming back about Tuesday morning. That's the plan. Gonna be very, very, very busy these next few days. I'm kind of looking forward to it, kind of not, just because, I'm not gonna have a lot of downtime to get stuff done. So I need to try to do my best today. I still need to book the hotel for Taiwan, stuff like that. Anyway, that's it for now. We're gonna do this workout. Alright, now it's on to the main event, chest. I'm pretty excited for this. Going for higher weight, higher volume, and I have a confession to make, which I think is hilarious. So it's not, in the orthodox sense of a confession. But yesterday, I was talking all about my protein intake and how I need to get 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And if I'm about 130 or 135, whatever my kind of ideal, maintained weight is, well, then I need 260 grams of protein, which is a lot. And hold on, I'm getting this weight on. You can kind of see my hand in here, like the SpongeBob episode. So, okay. I ate way too much yesterday. I'm really much heavier than I want to be right now. I still haven't weighed myself because I'm terrified that the scale is going to say 150, or something like that. So I honestly am not, like, I don't really want to weigh myself. But I was talking about getting 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And all of that came from a podcast I was listening to. Very credible, Dr. Peter Attia. I think he is one of the only podcasts that I'll listen to. I don't like Huberman Labs. I honestly just can't stand the guy, the way he talks and stuff. It's not that he's bad information and stuff, but I will say he does kind of go a little bit outside of the scope I think he should go. But that's just, oh, you're good, bro. That's just my opinion. Anyway, you know, gotta make content. It's his job, so whatever. But I was listening to the Peter Attia podcast, and they were talking about protein intake and how, you know, you really, really need 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And that's, like, beyond that is, you know, less and less effective. But up to that, between 1.6 and 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight is the ideal. And 1.6 is the lower threshold, and 2 is kind of the upper threshold if you're bodybuilder or whatever. And otherwise, your body just excretes it as nitrogen or whatever. I don't know how it works, but you know, more than 2 is less and less and less effective, unless you're maybe super, super juiced up on steroids or whatever. Then it might make sense to go for 3 grams or 4 grams of protein per kilogram. Now, when I heard this, my American standard unit mindset thought kilograms was pounds, and that's not the case. And I actually really I measure in grams, I measure in kilograms. I'm trying to do kilometers in my head more often, just to, you know, be a more worldwide guy, because in science and in the world, everything is metric, except for America and maybe some other small country. But I was texting my coach. I was telling him my meal plan. I was saying I want to try for the next 2 or 3 months to do 2 grams of protein per pound. And he was like, bro, that is extremely excessive. Extremely excessive. And I thought so too, because I was thinking that during my whole meal prep, I was at about 150 grams of protein, and I was weighing about 130, 120 between there. And so I thought, well, you know, I've been under protein this whole time. That's not the case. I was still thinking pounds and kilograms. I was wrong. 2 grams of protein per kilogram is 1 gram of protein per pound. So for some reason, I was thinking that I was going to need twice as much as optimum, which would be super, super excessive. And I had to look back at the podcast, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking of the wrong thing. So I'm so glad I was talking to Isaac, my coach, about it, because he was like, bro, I think that you're talking about kilograms, not 2 grams per pound. And I thought, wait a minute, you're probably right. And he was right. So 0.8 or 1 gram of protein per pound is the ideal range. And I will still be above that. I'm still gonna look for about 170 to 190 grams of protein. The problem is I have to consciously, and this is what my coach was saying as well, for guys like us who are very protein focused, I will have to make a conscious effort to not get too much protein. Because for some people it's very easy or very hard to get protein. For me, it's very easy. After the gym, you take 1 pound of egg whites, because I buy them from Sam's Club, so I get a 6-pack of 1 pound cartons of egg whites, which is 50 grams of protein, no fat, no carbs. And then add a little bit of water, fluff it up a little bit, and then add a scoop of protein powder. That's 75 grams of protein right there. And then later on, 300 grams of chicken with some rice, that's lunch. That's 100 grams of protein or something like that. I'm already at 170, and I only had breakfast and lunch. And depending on how much rice I eat, all I would have eaten that day so far would have been protein, mostly. A little bit of carbs, a little bit of fat. So I'm gonna have to make a very conscious effort to spread out my protein. And I also need to start really, really getting on a meal plan. I'm going to Detroit Saturday night, so then I'll be there Sunday and Monday, and I'll be coming back home Tuesday. And then I'm really going to get on a meal plan. What I have been enjoying, though, is my breakfast is just a protein shake. And then my lunch is just a can of beans with some hot sauce, or maybe I'll get some teriyaki sauce or hoisin sauce, oyster sauce, whatever. But I really love the simplicity of just having a can of beans for lunch. It gets you the fiber, it's got some protein. It's not the most, it's not the best protein source if you're looking for muscle protein synthesis, because it is lacking some of the amino acids that are required for triggering muscle protein synthesis. That's why it's super hard to get the right type of protein if you're vegan or you don't eat meat, basically. Yeah, but if I get some tuna or something, or chicken, you know, my lunch could be a can of beans and some chicken or tuna, whatever. And then that's like super easy to pack for lunch. It's super easy to eat. It's pretty tasty. It makes me feel very stoic. It makes me feel like I am, you know, kind of caveman, which I enjoy. So, yeah, I figure I've been on this bench press talking for plenty of time. I have this new kind of mode where now you can also see me in the mirror. There I am. I wonder if it'll be a good view. I don't know. But we're gonna warm up, build up to probably 205, or probably not 225, but somewhere in the 200, low 200s pounds, just so we can get some good working sets. Gonna go for 4 or 5 working sets, and then we're gonna move on to incline bench. It's only 7 o'clock, so I've only done one workout, which is weird. I've been here for 30 minutes, I've only done one workout. Dang. I'm gonna try to improve the speed of the efficiencies of my workouts, because this is kind of ridiculous, taking too much time here. Changes. Now, I know this looks silly, but I'm having fun adding a bunch of 10s. In fact, I could add a few more if I take off the 45s. I won't be doing that, but the idea here is every single set I go to about 1 to 2 reps in reserve, so pretty close to failure. Obviously, no one's here to spot me. I avoid failure. But it's very small increments. I would even do 5 pounds if I had the patience for that. But yeah, it's increments of 10 pounds, aka 20 pounds, because it's on both sides. And we are now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 10s on here, which makes it, well, you know, just about 225. It's actually 235. So, not bad. The last set was, well, 215, right? Minus 20 pounds. And I forgot, somewhere around 8 or 12. I think I got 11 or 12 on that. And so I feel comfortable going up in weight. I'll probably stay here and do 3 sets, and these will kind of be my working sets. And then, most importantly, I'll trickle back down. That's the key. And I used to do this with my buddies, where you would have only 10s on here, and you would stack up a bunch of 10s, and then you would slowly have your friends strip them off. But you need 2 friends with you to do that. And I have no friends with me. Sad. And I am currently thinking about, you know, I'm a pretty semi-emotionless guy when it comes to relationships and stuff. I never need closure, and I can be pretty heartless, which I'm not proud of, but I'm just prefacing this with the fact that there's one woman who has never left my mind. We didn't date. We only really talked for a little while, but I felt the real connection. I felt the real connection with her. And she's the only one that I actually remember that has not, you know, I do remember her name. I almost kind of forgot it, but if I think about it, I do remember her name. And I remember I felt pretty good about about what we could become. And then she just stopped talking to me. I can't be upset at that though, because I do that all the time to other people. So it's karma. Even though, interestingly enough, when people say that's karma, that's not what karma really is. Karma is the reincarnation. So it's really not about within the same life. Karma in the, what is it, the Hindu, the Vedas, and I don't know the names anymore of all the details, but I just remember, because I studied a bunch of different religions a couple times, took some courses about it, and karma is about reincarnating into something based on your past life, stuff like that. So it's not really about, oh, I did something bad today, something bad happens tomorrow. That's a little bit more of like an English kind of Westerner twist on it. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd be vulnerable for a second and just kind of open up about that, because this woman is on my mind. And I mean, obviously we would never have worked out, because if we would have, we would have. So it's not in acceptance or anything, but it's definitely, yeah. That's no one else though. There's no one else that really sticks in my mind except for her. I guess it's, what could have been that is the, most kind of charming, enchanting thing about it all. Oh snap. My homie. Man. Look at you limping in here.
Huh?
I love that, man. I am so grateful, honestly, for all the friends that I have, because, a lot of my friends, I don't have jealousy or anything, but they have lives that I want. You know what I mean? I'm proud of them, and they're, you know what I mean? It's so good to have friends where when you look at what they're doing in their life, and you just think, dude, if I were you, I would be doing the exact same thing. You know what I mean? It's they are doing things that inspire me, and so I guess they have a life that I admire, and I want to try to emulate in my own way. So I got my friend who just moved to the Netherlands. I got my friend who's doing his PhD. I got my friends with his own company. I got, just so many friends who are positive, and they're going out there and they're doing great things. And it honestly inspires me, and it reminds me, like, hey dude, don't slow down, don't get comfortable. You gotta keep up with these guys, and do great things and do maybe similar things in your own life, but they can be a model for it. So if I want to get into real estate, if I want to get into academia, if I want to get into moving around the world, if I want to do anything that I will find interesting, I have friends who are also doing it, which can be a model for me, and I could see like, hey, it's possible. I have friends who do it. Obviously, anybody can not anybody, it's not always anybody can do it, but at the same time, sometimes it's about, getting lucky, or, just things you can't control. But at the same time, it's also a lot about, hey, put in the time, put in the effort. It is humanly possible. All you have to do is figure out how to make it humanly possible for you. And with that said, let's hit this bench. Well, that was a lot of volume on flat bench, a lot of reps, a lot of sets. I'm still not totally sore. I really need to enunciate, Cosmo, enunciate. I need to push myself very hard, because, it feels nice laying down. Ooh. As soon as I laid down, I kind of, like when you lay down in your bed and you just get hit with a kind of relaxation. Yeah. But I really do want to try and get maximum volume. Next week-ish, I'm going to be starting back on a more rigid routine. Today's a little bit free-for-all, funsies. Tomorrow is back day with Isaiah. I just booked the Frontier flight, in between sets, $15 for one way flight to Detroit. Solid, good stuff. And yeah, so Saturday at 8 p.m. I have a flight to Detroit, and then hopefully coming back Tuesday morning. Otherwise, it'll have to be Thursday because Frontier doesn't have any flights on Wednesday from Detroit to Denver. And yeah, I need to figure out how I'm going to get to the airport. That's beside the point. Well, it is a major point, but you know what I mean. Doesn't really matter too much right now. I'll figure it out. Ciao. It's your time.